But you got to get different resources. You can't keep going to the same place looking for something different. You got to expand. So, well, I'm going to go watch a play, but for a different reason. I'm going to go see someone sing for a different reason. I'm going to read books for a different reason. I'm going to learn because I want to study different people so I can see what it is that they do that makes this so powerful. And be willing to stay a student. None of us are too old to learn. Stay a student. Let me give you a kind of a cool thing about being happy. How many of you would like to be happier? Yeah, I think so, right? You know what people do? We all try to achieve so we can be happy. If I get this done, I'm going to be happy. If I accomplish this, then I'll be happy. If this goes well, I'll be happy. If my children are doing well, I'm going to be happy. My mother said a parent's only as happy as their saddest child. It's true. You got a child messed up, everything in your world is too, if you're a loving parent. It is true. But here's the thing. My mom also said it's easier to happily achieve than it is to achieve so you can be happy. So whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever it is you're trying to get to, whatever it is you're trying to go after, do it from a happy perspective. Write this in the cloud. Timing and delivery. Timing and delivery. Now this may surprise you, may not. When I decided to get in this business, one of the things that I did is I sought out people that had already been real successful at it. I went and talked to a guy named Harold Gash that worked for a guy named Earl Nightingale. People that are my age know who the Nightingale Coaling Corporation was. You youngsters in here have no idea who Earl Nightingale was. But he was probably the first guy to really take personal development training, put it on records, right? They weren't on tapes. This was before 8-track. They were on phonos, 78s. Right? Him and a guy named J. Douglas Edwards, those two people. So I asked Mr. Gash, I said, look, what do I need to do? He said, you need to go study comics and you need to go to plays. I said, why? Timing and delivery. Comics, I'll show you what timing is. Kids performing on Broadway will teach you what delivery is because they do that play like it's the first time they've done it, and they may have done it 1,000 times. But they understand the power of what? Of delivery. So I did. I went and bought everything I could find. Now, you guys haven't noticed it before I just told you, but if you pay attention now, you're going to find out that every single word I say in this room is said to someone individually while I'm talking. So they'll even go, do you know how much practice that takes to not have your head snap off your neck? It takes time, doesn't it, to do that? Is it worth it, though? That's what I was going to say. What you got to do is take this funnel that everybody has in the business. You got to turn it this way, where the filter comes like this and it filters. It makes it so much easier. Most people don't see that transitional change in how they build their companies. They've got their company like this because there's so much, right? There's so much about top-down leadership. Everything starts where? Everything starts at the top. And there's that whole saying, and it's been taught. I mean, you go to Wharton, they teach it. You go to Harvard, they teach it. You go to any doctoral class, they teach it. This top-down filtered leadership, chiefs with chiefs, India with that whole thing. Not today. You better do this, right? You know why? Guess who's up here? Your customer. And there's more of these people doing this than there are this, right or wrong? Right. You better put the power in the people closest to the customer. You better put the energy in the people closest to the customer. You better put the enthusiasm in the people closest to the customer, because these are the people that either hire or fire new customers for you every day, right or wrong? Right. And can one person in a company, I don't care what level they are, fire a customer? Yes. So I had to go to work. So I'll tell you what my education was. It's called library. I don't have a college education, but I got 5,200 books I've read cover to cover. And I want to tell you something. Every one of you listen to me. I taught my 5 children this. When you need a weapon, buy a book. When you need a weapon, buy a book. Because listen, that is your shield of protection, is your knowledge. I said, well, I got great news for you. Big potatoes rise to the top on a rough road. And you can just, like, the room's like, what did he say? What is that? Where's the relevance? I said, well, you know, my grandfather, growing up, he was a potato farmer in South Louisiana, a little town called Bunkie, right outside of Whiteville. And he had potatoes, huge sweet potato farmer. But he didn't have the money to have grading equipment. The guy next to him had a big old farm. He had grading equipment. I asked him, Granddad, what is that over there? Well, that's grading equipment. Well, what's that do? Well, you throw all the potatoes in there, son. It's got 3 chutes. Big potatoes come out of this side over here, medium potatoes in the middle, little potatoes in the bottom. These go in that truck, these go in that truck, these go in that truck. If you take the potatoes to the market graded, you get more money from them. I said, well, why don't you do that? He said, oh, I have a grading equipment of my own. I said, what do you mean? He said, get in a truck. Now, we had just thrown these potato sacks in this truck, and all these potatoes are laying in there, and we go over every pothole in South Louisiana. Bam, 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 all the way to the market. We get there, the big potatoes on the top, medium potatoes in the middle, little potatoes on the bottom. He said, son, don't ever forget, big potatoes rise to the top on a rough road, and so do people. You've got to have that optimism, and you've got to look forward every single day to what you do with optimism, with belief. And so if you combine the first 3, if you operate with a vision that burns so bright, that will eradicate all doubt. You back that vision up with enthusiasm, energy, and excitement. You have the courage to dream a bigger dream, to think bigger, and attack that every day, not ever shrink back, but attack it. What could happen? What would be possible? I always like to ask people this. What one dream would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? What one dream would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail?